Garden watering fails in places the rain never reaches. It poured here for a solid week, yet the driest spot in my whole garden sat right in the middle of it. Down at the foot of the gable wall, my neighbor Mrs. Doyle's climbing rose was bone dry, wilting while the rain fell. I am Mitchell. Today we hunt that hidden desert, the strip a downpour never touches. Which parts of your garden stay dry even when it pours? And it pours. Let me tell you about that rose, because it taught me this whole lesson. Mrs. Doyle lives 2 doors down. Years ago, she planted a climbing rose against the south gable of her house, the sunny side, where a rose ought to thrive. And for a while it did. Then, in the odd dry spell, it would sulk and yellow, even in weeks when we had plenty of rain. She watered the border, she fed it, she blamed the soil, the green fly, next door's cat. Everyone told her roses are thirsty and to give it more, but here is what none of us spotted for a long time. The rain was watering every single inch of that garden, except the one narrow strip where the rose actually grew. The wall above it acted like a great umbrella. The plant was sitting in a private drought, a few feet wide in the middle of a wet garden. That strip has a name. Gardeners and weatherfolk call it a rain shadow. And once you know it is there, you will start seeing it all over your own patch. So what is actually going on? Here is the key, and it is simpler than you would think. Rain rarely falls straight down. There is almost always a bit of wind leaning it over, so it arrives at a slant. Now put anything tall and solid in its path. A house wall, a fence, a shed, a thick hedge. The rain hits the windward side, and the ground just behind in the lee stays dry. Think of standing in a bus shelter in a downpour. You keep dry, and so does a strip of pavement behind you. Your wall does exactly the same thing to the soil at its foot. It is the same trick the weather plays on a giant scale. A range of hills forces the air up on one side, wrings the rain out, and leaves a dry region in its lee. Whole deserts sit in the rain shadow of mountains. Your garden just runs the same physics, shrunk down to a strip a few feet wide against a wall. Once you picture that slanting rain and the dry pocket behind every solid thing, the whole garden reads differently. You stop asking why a plant is dry after rain, and start asking what was standing between it and the sky. Let us name the 3 deserts so you can spot them. First, the base of a wall, and the worst offender is the wall of the house itself. It is warm, so it dries the soil faster. Its footings sit underground, taking up the room where roots want to go. And if there is any overhang of roof above, the rain is thrown clear of the wall entirely. Second, under the eaves and any deep overhang. Watch a roof in the rain. The water runs off the edge and lands as a line well out from the wall. Everything under that line stays parched, sometimes for the whole summer. Third, under a big tree or a dense hedge, the canopy works like a leaky umbrella. It funnels rain out to a drip line around the edge and keeps the ground near the trunk dry. Worse, the tree is thirsty. Its roots drink the little that does get through before your plant gets a look in. So the driest ground in the whole garden is often the shadiest looking. A shady border under a tree feels cool and damp. Put your hand in the soil and it can be dust. Shade is not the same as moisture, and this is where people get fooled. Now here is the trap, the bit that actually kills plants. You look out of the window after a wet week. The lawn is lush, the borders are glistening. Every sensible bone in your body says the garden has had a good drink, so you do not need to water a thing. And for most of the garden, you are dead right. But that one strip in the rain shadow did not get the memo. It has been dry through all of it. So the plant there wilts, and you glance at it and think, it cannot possibly be thirsty. It poured all week. You leave it, and that is the mistake. That is exactly how Mrs. Doyle nearly lost her rose. Now, one honest word of caution, because I bang this drum a lot. A wilt is not always thirst. In the heat of the afternoon, big-leaved plants droop on purpose to save water and perk up by evening, so do not just reach for the hose. Do the one thing that never lies. Push a finger into the soil right at the base of the plant. If it is damp down there, leave it. If it is dry as a bone while the rest of the garden drips, you have found your rain shadow. If this is starting to sound familiar, you are not imagining it. There was a post on the gardening forum a while back that has stuck with me. After weeks of drought, someone simply wrote, "It is raining, proper rain, and I am so happy." Hundreds of gardeners piled in underneath to celebrate right along with them, and I understand the feeling completely. When you have watched your borders go crisp for weeks, a proper soaking feels like the whole garden breathing out at once. But here is the quiet thing nobody in that thread thought to mention. Not all of the garden actually drank. While the lawn and the open beds had their party, the strip hard against the house wall got nothing. The soil under the eaves stayed dry as dust. The ground beneath the big tree never felt a single drop. That is the cruel little trick of the rain shadow. It hides on the very day everyone else is out celebrating the rain. So know you are not a bad gardener, and you are not seeing things. One slice of your garden has been living through its own private drought, while the rest of it drinks. Right, let us turn this into something you can actually do this weekend. I want you to make a dry spot map of your garden. It is the single most useful hour you will spend, and it costs nothing. Wait until the day after a proper spell of rain when the whole garden should be wet through. Take a trowel and dig a small hole, about a hand's depth, at the foot of a wall. Then dig another under a tree or a hedge. Then dig one out in the open, in the middle of the lawn or an open border, as your control sample. Now compare. The open ground will be damp all the way down. The sheltered spots may be dust below the surface, even a day after rain. And that is the whole trick of a rain shadow. The top inch can look fine while the root zone is bone dry. That is why you have to get down to where the roots live 5 to 10 centimeters, not just scratch the top. Once you have found the dry pockets, walk the whole garden and mark them on a rough sketch. Walls, fences, the eaves, under every tree. That map is your watering plan for the rest of the summer. So how do I handle the rain shadow on my own plot? This is the one job I will never leave to the weather, because the weather is the whole problem here. Any system that waters off the forecast has a blind spot, and this dry strip is exactly it. It is the reason I stopped trusting a single garden-wide setting. On my own tap, I run the Johgee 4-zone timer. The drywall border gets a zone to itself, with its own dripper at the foot of the wall. The clever bit is the rain delay. I switch it off for that zone, so a skipped forecast still waters my shadow strip. A timer cannot make it rain under your roof. And if your dry spot is just a pot or two, do not buy a thing. Keep a watering can by the back door. Say you would rather not automate anything. That is grand. Most of this is free. Here is how you look after the desert by hand. First, when you water the rest of the garden, give the rain shadow spots a proper soak of their own. Even in a week it has rained. They did not get that rain, remember. Water slowly, right at the base, and let it sink in deep rather than run off the dry crust. Second, once that ground is properly wet, and only then, lay a mulch over it. A few centimeters of bark or compost will hold the moisture in, but never mulch onto dry ground, or you just seal the drought in and keep the next rain out. Third, for pots against a hot wall, group them together out of the worst of it, or stand them where the rain can actually reach. And last, be kind to yourself and pick the right plant for the spot. A tough, drought-hardy climber will forgive a dry wall in a way a thirsty rose never will. None of this is clever, it is just watering the one place the sky refuses to. Boring, and it works. So, what does that mean for your garden? Somewhere out there you have a secret desert, a dry strip at the foot of a wall, a parched line under the eaves, a patch of dust under a tree, hiding under all that shade. It is not bad soil, and it is not bad luck. The rain is simply never reaching it. So go and find it. Dig your 3 holes the day after rain, make your dry spot map, and water the places the sky keeps missing. Mrs. Doyle's rose, by the way, is thriving now. 1 dripper at the foot of the wall. That was all it ever wanted. Next time, we stay with the ground that dries out fastest of all. Not a strip this time, but every pot you own. It is called Why Pots Dry Out So Fast. If a bus driver digging holes to prove a point is your sort of thing, do subscribe, right? That is the route for today. See you on the next one.